Hello, 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 everyone. I'm Karen Yankovich, and this is our weekly Tuesday show, Women Supporting Women, live here on LinkedIn. And I have the amazing Nicola Wilkes with me here today. So I'm so excited to join Nicola. We'll tell you a little bit about our story because LinkedIn is where we met. But she was also on podcast recently. So there's lots more you can listen to there. But I really love to introduce my LinkedIn network to some of the most amazing women that I am lucky enough to be connected with. So Nikki, thanks for being here.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much. Every single time you invite me you invited me on your podcast, and I know we've spoken so much and we've shared content in each other's programs. And not most recently in Orlando when you were doing your event, yep. I flew over. It's always amazing to talk to you.
Yep. So I'm jumping back and forth right now, but first of all, so I just want to show you this. For those of you that are new to this, if you're not logged into StreamYard, I don't know who this is, but I did just check Facebook, and this is Maria, who I haven't talked to in forever. So Maria, I'm so glad to have you here today. You totally need to check Nikki out. And so thanks for being here. But if you're not logged into StreamYard, I'm not ignoring you. I just don't know who. This is all I see, right? So thanks for being here, Maria. And anybody else, please jump in. We love interaction on the show, so we're happy to answer your questions, whether they're for me or for Nikki. So Nikki, tell everybody a little bit about you and how we met.
Well, I'm a success coach, high performance coach in the UK. I specialize in working with women. It's not to say I don't work with men, but I specialize in working with women who have already had a great career and they're kind of at a plateau. They know that they have got so much more to give, and it's about getting ourselves unstuck from wherever we're at and just going for it. So I will unhook you. I will get you really focusing in on what you are amazing at, what no one else can do like you do it, and show you how to win higher paying clients with less overwhelm and more of basically what you desire you can manifest in your life. So with mindset, we really get you to that place of success.
Awesome. So I want to tell you a little bit about how Nikki and I met. If you have followed my show or listened to my podcast or anything like that, you know that I'm all about really authentically finding ways to engage in conversation on LinkedIn, because I think that that's where we have the powerful conversations and the powerful relationships. And one of the ways to do that, because what I don't want you doing is reaching out to people and going, hey, I found this article you might be interested in, because we all know that you just sent that to 50 people, right? So one of the things that I really like to do, because I think it really just provides value and is just a great way to shake out conversation, is to just go onto LinkedIn and endorse people for their skills, right? So I do that intentionally. I look for people that I really do want to build a relationship with. And I went in a couple of years ago and endorsed Nikki for her skills, which shook out a conversation because, very often the immediate response is, thanks for that. Thanks for doing that, right? And then it just started a conversation, which has led to so much collaboration in the past few years.
I think it's 3 years. I was actually, because we keep talking about this, like how many years? I think it's 3.
Wow.
Crazy. And it has. We've both spoken in each other's group programs. Like I say, you gave me a guest speaking slot within your own event over in Orlando. And, this is the strength of also not only just connection, but authentic connection. Right. And I know that we talk so much, and the purpose of this tonight is about how when you really anchor in your own brand and you get so clear on what you stand for, who your ideal client is, and really the work that you're trying to win, every conversation that you have should never be a forced conversation, should never be a for sake of it conversation. And just like you endorsed me, it was a natural kind of spin-off that we got on, and 3 years later we are still collaborating together.
Yeah. And listen, I love making new friends, but that's not what I use LinkedIn for, right? I was very intentional about who I did that to, right? Who I was endorsing. I was intentional. When you came on, you explained that your audience is women who are already having some success in their business and are really ready to go to the next level. That's my audience, right? So we come at it from two different places, but we both really focus on their brands. We both really focus on the same audience. So it's a great natural way to jump into a conversation that's just let's see let's see how we can best support each other. And that is just the best way to use this platform, because it's not like by myself, by myself, by myself. However, I've gotten, we've gotten clients from each other by putting each other in front of each other's audiences. So it's so much of a better way to do that than just going on LinkedIn looking for people to buy your stuff. People will buy your stuff if the people they trust serve you up to their people.
And I was going to say, it's about no lack mindset. So, there are billions of people in the world. Like, there's no lack of work. There's no lack of customers. And when you get that, actually, by collaborating with like-minded people, or maybe you share a similar audience, and you literally strip away that feeling of, oh my goodness, well, if she's got a similar audience to me, we can't possibly be friends because, we're going after the same people. No, our clients come between us. And just before we went live, we were talking about the fact that I was on your podcast recently. And I said, I've been sat outside a coffee shop locally where I've got clients in the area who've stopped and said, oh my goodness, I've listened to the podcast. And then someone else next to us was like, sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but what's this? And then it starts spinning. And I think 3 years on, and I know I keep saying that, but 3 years on, if somebody's walking past a coffee shop where I'm outside having a coffee and asking, what's the podcast that you were on? I think that's pretty damn special.
I love it. It is. And here's the thing. I mean, I don't know how many of you guys know this, because I didn't know this when I started my podcast, which Nikki was 134. I think we came out with 139 this week. I get listens to every single episode every single month. So 2 years from now, there are, presumably going to be people listening to this episode still and finding you in a coffee shop and saying, I just listened to your podcast with Karen, right? So it's just a great way to get, and we both talk a lot about visibility and how the importance of visibility, but also visibility doesn't necessarily in and of itself pay your bills, right? You need but the visibility gives you credibility, and then the credibility leads to paying clients and leads to the opportunity to, to grow your business. And I love that.
So many people kind of come to me saying, oh my goodness, I lack confidence. What's the secret? How can I do it? How can I be more confident? How can I get my brand out there? And I think what I've learned as well is that if you can just be genuine, if you've got that authentic connection to what you do, and you do take the time to really dig deep into who is my ideal customer and who should I not be serving, who should I be saying no to, because it's so important to be able to say no, because that's how you will create the biggest impact. When you are serving the people that you say yes to for genuine reasons, that's when you're going to have the most amazing connections and relationships. That's how you're going to get great recommendations. That's how you're going to immediately see your ideal customer or your ideal collaborator, such as you, when they are in front of you, because you connect and there's this like-minded frisson, which makes you think, whether it's like in my case, somebody will say, you were the coach for me, or you meet somebody, you think, you know what, I think we could work together because this just feels good. This is about human connection.
Yes, which is exactly what I talk about, like human to human marketing, right? I want you to meet people and talk to people and build relationships with people. And that's just such a great way to build your business. So we can't have this conversation without talking about what you did. I mean, I think, hopefully I did my best to share you with people, but I was speaking at an event in Orlando in March. I think the last live event that happened in the world in March of 2020. And I also did like a private event at this conference, and we rented a suite and we did masterminds in the suite, and it was really a lot of fun. But Nikki says to me one day, I think I want to come. I was like, you want to come? I mean, that's amazing that you want to come. And she's like, I don't know why I want to come, but I feel like I should come. And I feel like it'd be great to support you and just to see what this podcasting stuff is all about, because it was a podcast conference. And first of all, like, thank you so much for coming, because it was so great to have you there for the few days that we were there. And we had all these great plans. We're going to plan all these live events in New York, which, hopefully will happen someday.
Yeah.
Right. But then it gave you the opportunity for me to put you on my stage, and also, and gave you some credibility with all those people. And I remember watching you like over the rest of the weekend or the rest of the conference, like in my suite, I'd look over and there'd be Nikki in the corner coaching somebody. And I'd be like, oh, they're because she's such a good coach. She is such a good coach. So it was fun to see you like just meet a bunch of new different kinds of people and just see where that goes. Like you never know, like you kind of have to trust. I feel like what that means, Nikki, is that you have enough confidence in yourself and in your skills to just trust that the investment of flying to the US for a week is going to pay off. And that's huge.
And I remember saying to you, I know you've said I can talk at your event, but I had no idea what literally propelled me to it. But it was obviously the time prior to that we had built this collaborative relationship. And again, it goes back to your brand story. I knew that for some reason, because I'm so mindset based, that there was a reason that I came over. But I've made some amazing connections. I know for life that I would never have changed. It would never have happened. I would never go back and not make that decision to come. But when clients are talking to me about taking the leap with their brand and their business and how do they go forward, it's almost hard to explain other than you have to feel into yourself. And I think this is where I start talking about how deep branding goes and our business goes and our connection to both goes, is because I was on one of my own training calls. I'm always learning and increasing my skills as a coach. And I was on a call the other week and it's all about neuroscience and coaching. And this blew me away. And it's all about, I'm a somatic coach as well. I've since trained in that since I've been to Orlando. And it's about the fact that for every one message our brain sends down to our bodies, if you take your gut or your heart, it sends 7 up. So the ratio is 7 to 1. So we think... It blew my mind. It literally blew my mind.
Oh, I haven't even heard about this. I can't wait to hear about this.
So this is related directly to branding and why your brand story, and I mean, what's in you is so important. So if you think, we all live in our heads all of the time. And this is how I coach. I coach from the neck down more, that I want you to feel it through to your fingers and toes. So it's how do we create change where you literally feel it through to your fingertips. That's one of the differences with working with a coach on a regular basis. It's not about, you know what, I'm going to do that program, do it for however long, I'll be done with it, it'll have changed my life. It might alter your life, but you create change through to your fingers and toes when you get that consistency, because you have to work down, you have to fill yourself up with it. And so we think the brain is this master control center, but it is just the control center. And if you think about the feeling in your gut, if you're hungry, your gut sends a message to your brain. If you're nervous, your gut sends a message to your brain. If you are excited, your gut sends a message to your brain. So why are we living in our heads over branding in our businesses and the decisions that we make to create these authentic businesses when we make those decisions from our heart space or our bodies, our guts? We make
Oh my gosh, so cool. So cool. I'm actually just looking over at LinkedIn right now. I have multiple screens here. So I just want to make sure we're not missing any comments over here on LinkedIn. That's so cool. That's so cool. And that's really why, you know, so we're scrolling across the bottom, Nikki's podcast episode, and you guys should all listen to it. I did 3 podcast interviews today, like upcoming episodes. And on, I think 2 of them, we talked about the fact that investing in coaching is not negotiable. It's not even a negotiable thing anymore, because we can't possibly know what we don't know. We can't possibly do this in a vacuum, right? Like I need, and most of us need, somebody to kind of brainstorm with, or somebody that can call us out on our shit, right? Or, you know, that can help us really understand what we need to do internally to be able to have some of the external success.
Well, if doing it alone was going to work, it would have worked by now. And I've had a coach now for 4 or 5 years. I lose track for so long, and I couldn't do it without one. And it's not, I don't see that as a failure. I never forget going to a conference and somebody sat next to me saying, with all due respect, but if you're a coach, why are you sat there? And I said, with all due respect, if you ever hire a coach and that coach can't tell you who their coach is, I wouldn't hire them. Like, because they should always learn always. Yeah. And I'm on my 2nd course. I'm an ICF accredited coach, so I'm always training, always adding to my qualifications, and I'm on my second since COVID hit. Like I said, I trained as a somatic coach. Now I'm training in the neuroscience part in terms of creating change. And this is how it's impacting my clients when we then start to learn about business on a different level, because it goes back to this masculine and feminine energy. And I want to see branding and brand vision and brand voice discussions coming back to way more about the balance between the masculine and the feminine, because, and I could talk for so long about it, but it's about that gut connection that our clients will have. And that's more about feminine energy than it is about the masculine. Masculine is very about the doing, it's about action taking. But when we're connecting on that subconscious level, so our clients get the message from the gut and the heart up, rather than just living in their head, that's when we're creating businesses that will be game changing.
That's so cool. I don't think I even told you this, Nikki, but did you know, so today's Tuesday, so not this past weekend, but the weekend before, I did a 5-day solo retreat, guided by somebody who was basically helping me with exactly what you're talking about. How, and I went there without having any real idea of why I was going. Like I knew it was going to benefit me, kind of like when you went to Orlando, right? But what came out of that mostly was that listen to your gut more, listen more, like just, because there's so much wisdom there, that, because you guys know me, if you know me, I'm in my head a lot, right? I'm in my head a lot. We got to do this and we need to do that. And I have a to-do list 16 miles long. And we do build a lot of right brain, left brain stuff into my She's Linked Up accelerator program. But I don't know, but I have to remind myself to kind of do that a lot. So I just spent 5 days with somebody in the middle of the woods. Wow. It was amazing. It was amazing, but it was kind of life-changing as well, because of all of the things I had taught myself and told myself that really aren't true, right? So yeah, I think that's really important. I think it is really important.
Running businesses, we, especially women, okay, and I have to say this, I have to call us out. We've been so conditioned to survive, and we've been so conditioned that we have to maybe be a certain way, and then the business or the brand we're creating has to look a certain way to hold our own, because you know what? It is a male-dominated environment. It's right. And I mean the world over. It's the patriarchy. Right. The women in work. We think we've come that far, and we haven't. But we don't realize that the power is in that feminine connection to everything. And I'm not just, when I say feminine and masculine, I'm not talking about men, women. I'm on about energies.
Yep.
And when branding can come from that place, whether you're a man or a woman setting up your business or rebranding and restructuring, when you can go in and think, who am I? Why am I running this business? What is it about this business that I am so connected to? Or what is my purpose? But we so deep. And you work with a designer to create that. That's when you build a business that can stand on its own. You are not planting seeds on a dry riverbed. It can stack up and it can stand. And that's what I do with my clients, is I help them go so deep into, even down to, how does this business really truly support your life? Not you, but how are you impacting your life and everybody else's that works with you? Because when you are lit up, everyone else will be lit up.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. That's so awesome. So tell everybody a little bit about how you work with people. So you're a coach. Tell everybody a little bit about how do you work with people?
So we do workshops, obviously, at the minute. The workshops, I actually literally have just announced a 3-hour workshop that we're going to hold in November online. But I work with people through group coaching. So I've got 3 programs I run. So I've got a 10-week where you can come in and you can do more self-study with it. Then I've got a program where it really helps you build momentum. So once you've kind of stabilized and you've got used to how to work with me and the way that I mindset coach and really get you to your high performing level, then we kind of build and stabilize and figure out our growth plan. And then I run mastermind groups, so small intimate groups where there's a level of trust that's unrivaled, and together you literally pull each other through. I have private clients as well, where people just want that one-to-one if they're working on a particular path and they want that attention. So that's how I work with people, and I consult for just a couple of brands. It's
Awesome.
consulting where I get really involved with the design work and maybe creative directors, and I have a higher level role in that. So that's how I work. So the group program or private, both impact in exactly the same way. It's just where you're sat with your business at the time.
Right. So can I put you on the spot and ask if you're still offering complimentary consultation?
Of course. Do you know what, Karen? Actually, I'm still getting them in from your podcast.
Oh, awesome. I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah, so some people I met in Orlando as well, spoke to them last week. I don't know whether they'll be listening to this on replay or something, but yes, spoke to them last week.
Awesome.
And absolutely. So for anyone listening that wants to know more about how I work, and if you've got any kind of inkling that you've listened to this and you kind of feel like wound up, I want to wind you up. I want you to leave this kind of feeling energized.
Yeah.
If you think that's how you feel, you want to book a 50-minute free call with me, you are welcome. And I know, Karen, you have put me on the spot because, oh my goodness, what's the link? I know you'll put it in there for me because you've got it from your podcast.
So you can find it at that link, KarenYankovich.com/134. Well, you'll find it there for sure.
It is 9 p.m. here tonight. It is 9 p.m. But it's there in the link on the podcast because I want you to listen to the podcast as well. It's a good podcast. But yeah, you can book a 50-minute free call with me.
Yeah, and you absolutely, positively want to do that because they're good. I mean, Nikki and I have never worked together formally, but every now and then, I let her dive in a little bit and coach me on some things, and hopefully I've helped her as well. And I'm like, because here's the deal. This is my business, and I love my business. And I try really hard not to have an ego in my business because if you're not I don't want to hear what I want to hear. I want to hear what's going to make a change, right? And Nikki does not hesitate to tell you. In fact, one of the things that early on, Nikki was telling me, like, now I have a little bit of a better background than I had before, but as I'm looking at my background, Nikki's looking at that going, get rid of the shredder, Karen, right?
Yes, you know now, but you know what?
Right. She's like, get rid of the shredder, Karen, right? But she wouldn't hesitate to tell me that, right? Which is what you want in a coach. So you totally want to hook up with Nikki. And
so the tables are turned now because you can't see my background. I've just moved house and it's a project and I have 70s floral shiny wallpaper behind me. I'm trying to get rid of the hat and some tear sheets. But yeah, I actually called a decorator in today and I said, can we just take off the wallpaper? Because I'm going to gut the place, so I don't want to do it yet. I said, can we just take off the wallpaper on this certain bit behind me and maybe just paint that part of the wall? And he's like, why would you want to do that? I said, because I cannot be seen to be having a bad background. Because there's people, I actually said this, there's people I have openly criticized for this. and here I am a few hours later here with that.
Right. That's funny. That's so funny. But it's true. Honestly, it's true. And I need people to call me out on it because I can get lazy and say, oh, who cares? It's just, I can get lazy. But you know what? Here's the thing. What happened when I started to do, and I'm still working on this room, but what happened when I started to do that is it makes it easier for me to turn on my camera, and that makes me money. Yeah. That makes me money.
That's exactly it. So I was actually talking to somebody earlier and she said something about I'm unconfident. And I was like, name me the one thing, if you are so honest with yourself as to what is really holding you back. Am I allowed to swear? Like, don't lie to me. Mm-hmm. I didn't say that true. I did swear. I said, don't lie to me. Tell me the one thing. And she admitted it. And in that point, we can switch, we can move on, we can work with it. But if you're honest with yourself and someone isn't honest with you, because I knew what this thing was holding her back.
Right.
And therefore she knew she couldn't pull the wool over my eyes. And when you build that relationship with a coach, that's when the magic can happen. And there's such a level of trust. It's confidential.
Yeah.
And that's how you create massive changes. You break through huge plateaus where you may have been stuck. And a lot of my clients come to me, they've been stuck there for some time. It could be years and years they've been stuck there. Especially women, they get to a certain age and they've had a great career and they kind of think they're done, or they don't have the energy they don't know how to do it. And then suddenly they wake up one day and they think, oh my goodness, I've got so much more left in me. And then, there's a saying in coaching, when the pupil's ready, the teacher appears, and then suddenly you're in it. and your life can change overnight. Your business can change overnight when you just align yourself with that person that will call you out.
Okay, so if this is the first time you've experienced Nikki Wilkes, you totally want to take advantage of a call with her. And by all means, you should also listen to the podcast episode because there's lots more good stuff there. Nikki, thanks so much for doing this with me today.
For asking me.
It's always fun to get to hang out with you.
Yes, thank you.
All right. We'll be back here next Tuesday. Come join us, 4 p.m. Eastern on LinkedIn Live. See you next week.
Thank you.